Hi friends, welcome to Law Chat with Girija. My name is Girija Patel. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I am a podcaster, I am an educator, I am a businesswoman, I am an entrepreneur, and I'm a lawyer. I truly believe in the power of mentorship through storytelling, and that's what Law Chat is all about. So whether you are in 6 months or 10 years of business experience, we can all learn from each other's experiences because we face the same challenges and we have the victories and we have mistakes that we're all making. So why not lean into them and know that we're going to be fine and we're going to be okay and we're going to be inspired. And of course, this is Law Chat with Girija, so we will be talking about some law at some point during the conversation. And if you love what you hear today, which I know you will, then subscribe to Law Chat with Girija and share the love. So grab your coffee, sparkling water, or wine, and let's dive in to the next inspiring mentorship session. Hey friends, welcome to Law Chat with your legal BFF, Girija Patel. Today I'm going to be talking about goodwill. What does goodwill mean? I know the word is thrown around like a basketball here and there all over the place, but sometimes we don't even know what we're talking about and we just say goodwill, 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 right? Well, stay tuned till the end of the episode so that way you know exactly how to create your goodwill. Here we go, guys. So let's talk a little bit about traditional goodwill. What does that mean in the accounting and business world? Well, the goodwill in the accounting and business world is for investment purposes and all of that stuff. It's the value of the company above the book value of the company. So basically, like if someone's going to come in and purchase your company for $1 million, but your assets, your net assets, which is basically all your real tangible assets minus the liabilities. So the fair market value of those assets could be, say, like 700,000. And then your liabilities are 100,000. So that would make the net asset value 600,000. So the goodwill is worth 400,000 because somebody's purchasing your company for $1 million. And so the difference between the net assets and the actual purchase price or the valuation is considered to be goodwill. Now, why would you pay somebody over that, right? Like, why would you pay somebody over the assets that are there? Well, there's many reasons why that could happen. And generally in a balance sheet, you will also see somebody's valuation of the goodwill as well, because goodwill goes a long way. And goodwill is something that's hard to create, but once you have it, it is there, unless you go and break it down. So don't do that either. But how do you create goodwill? Well, let's talk about what comprises goodwill first. So goodwill is not just giving happy feelings everywhere, which is so important, but it's not only that. It's not only making the other person feel good and to create a good reputation about your brand, but there's also other things that basically create goodwill. And one of those things is intangible assets. So goodwill itself is an intangible asset. And so how do you create it is through your intellectual property, which is also an intangible asset. So intellectual property is one, your brand recognition and your skilled labor, and then also customer loyalty. So all of these things literally create goodwill. And so goodwill's importance can be a lot of times underestimated, but goodwill, when you are in a bind, goodwill is what comes in and helps you. I know that when my family, we had an issue with the business, not with this business, but a different one, and it was a major setback, a setback where there were actual thieves that came in and took everything away. And what helped us stand back up on our feet was the goodwill that was created by my family in their business. And that is what helped them sit back up, ask for grace from their, industry members and the people that they work with, whether it's their manufacturers or their clients or anybody. And because of their goodwill, they were able to stand back up on their feet. They were able to have other people in their industry help them and also show them a lot of grace during that time. And so goodwill goes a long way, especially when you're in a bind, especially when something is just so tough to navigate and manipulate. And if you didn't have those good people around you because of the relationships that you have fostered and because of what you have done for your community, then that goodwill, if that wasn't there, then it would be really challenging, if not a complete termination of that business. Like, it would just go away because you would be in such a financial bind at that point. So how are some ways that we can actually create goodwill? Well, here's number one, your intellectual property. If you have a logo, if you have something that is literally distinguishing your brand from everybody else's, trademark that. Make sure you trademark that, or make sure you copyright, register. And what I mean by trademark that is register it with the USPTO, register your copyright with the US Copyright Office. And so register your patents also. And if you have a trade secret, that is also very important. So these are the things, when you register them with the federal government, you have automatically increased the value of your business. You have created demand for your business that might not have been there. And so you are creating a space that is now leveled up because of the registrations of the intellectual property that you have in your business. Now, if it's not registered, that's okay, but registration, what it does is that it really makes it a solid, quantifiable type of situation for your business as well. So when you're trying to sell your business, you are like, I have a trademark in this, I have a registered copyright in this, my patent is also registered. So when that happens, it really increases the value of whatever you're trying to sell automatically. I hate to interrupt this awesome conversation, but I have to stop and talk with you about the number one thing I'm asked about by entrepreneurs: contracts. They're vital to any business relationship and to protect your business. But I also know that entrepreneurs, especially when you're starting up, money is tight. But I would never want you to compromise on a strong legal foundation. So enter yourcontractbuddy.com, a website created by me with contract templates created and drafted by me and fellow industry partners. They're ready to use and easy to plug in immediately. And they are not restricted to any specific state. Yourcontractbuddy.com is sponsoring this episode, and you and your listener can get 10% off right now with code LAWCHAT. Yes, you heard me right. 10% off right now with code LAWCHAT. And now, back to our awesome conversation. Now, number two is the quality of the workforce and the corporate culture. So it's not just who you're hiring, but it's also how you're training them, how you're developing them, and what's your corporate culture also. Do you have an awesome corporate culture, or do you have a corporate culture that is absolutely terrible and everybody knows about it? And so whether or not you believe corporate culture to be something that is important in your business or even in the industry, but when the time comes and you're trying to figure out the goodwill, that corporate culture will speak volumes at that point also, because people talk, employees talk, and the word spreads as well. In addition to that, when you have a company where your workforce wants to stay with you, that also is really important, because then you'll have retention of one of the best people, because those are human assets in your business, and you're going to have retention of those human assets because they are pretty darn awesome, and you want to keep them in your business and your company and not let them go away somewhere else. So you want to treat them nicely. You want to make sure your corporate culture is there where they can thrive, where they can really grow and get cultivated, rather than a corporate culture that is stifling or toxic. So keep that in mind as well. Number three, customer service. Customer service kind of goes into the whole customer loyalty as well, and kind of goes into number four, what I'm about to say also is, which is grace and help others. So they kind of go hand in hand, because customer service is a third party that you're dealing with, along with your industry peers. And those are also third parties that you're dealing with, and how you're communicating with them matters. It's not just only about the customer service, but it's about the relationship service that you're giving with other business relationships that you have, because there's so many other business relationships that exist. It's not just a B2C, but it's a lot of B2B happening as well. So you want to foster those relationships. You want to, again, cultivate those relationships and show grace where you need to show grace. If you are able to take a little setback for something, take it. So that way you can show goodwill at that point. You are showing grace at that point. You're showing also that you are concerned and caring about the person and not just about the business. And so that truly makes such an impact, because the more you do abundantly for the third parties, for your community, for those relationships, the more you will get back when you need it. And I say this from a tried and tested point of view, and not just from something that just sounds really amazing to hear. Because the reality is, when everything goes to fire and it's just like, you're just like, wow, this is just straight out of a movie scene. What really helps is the relationships that you have built and the relationships that you have served, not the ones that have kept giving to you, but what you have served. Serve it abundantly, so that when you're in the time of need, that abundance is given back to you, that grace is given back to you, and that love is given back to you as well. And so it's so important to have a proper customer service where you are thoughtful about the person and the human behind, and not just the numbers that are coming in. I mean, think about Disney. Disney is one of the best examples of customer service. They have literally thought of all the issues that could possibly happen and have already resolved them before it can even become an issue. That is inspiring, and something that I aspire in my business to do as well. So think about customer service, think about how you can make those experiences better, and whether that is getting feedback from your customers, getting surveys from your customers, or even from the vendors that you work with, or manufacturers, distributors, anybody that you're working with, constantly have communication with them. Have an open channel of communication. Have touch point times with them where you're touching base and you're trying to figure things out. Have evaluations with them also, so that they can give you feedback on how you can make that experience better. And it kind of goes into what I was saying about the grace. Is having grace for others is very important. We want others to show us leverage. We want them to give us a little room for wiggle. And it's really important that we give wiggle room to others also, because if we don't have the capacity to give it, how can we ask for it? And so life happens. Be practical sometimes. We love our contracts. I love my contracts, and we should all have a clause in our contract that's a waiver clause, and that clause gives you the ability to show grace without having to compromise future action if there were to be more breaches. And so it's super important, though, to be discretionary, and it's super important to show discretion as well, and to show the latitude when you need to show it. Now, number 5 is market strength. Market strength is essentially saying show up. Show up when people need you. Show up when your community needs you. Show up when things are not going well, but you are showing accountability. You're showing trustworthiness. You're showing that people can rely on you also. So it doesn't matter if it's something that, your business has made a mistake. Your company's like, oh my gosh, that was really bad. Own it. Show up and own it, and show accountability. If there has been a major crisis that's happening in your community, whether it's local or regional, show up if you can. However, in whatever capacity, show up. Whether it's a small group of people or a big group of people, show up. I'm in Houston, Texas, and we have one of the most amazing grocery stores here, H-E-B. H-E-B does not need to do any of this stuff, but what they do is that anytime there is any type of crisis happening in Texas, they show up. And they're big enough to show up in a big way also, but they show up in such a way where even the smallest of the fries feel their love. And it is so fantastic that, again, something to learn from. Somebody who's doing it better than you, learn from them. The goodwill that H-E-B has created has also created customer loyalty. You continuously keep going back to them because they continuously keep showing love to their customers and keep showing respect to their customers and appreciation to their customers, alongside all the local farmers and the local food community as well. So what I want you to do is go and figure out your trademarks and your copyright, and also any patents or any type of trade secrets. Write it down, have it in your business systems and your files, and go and register whatever you can register if you haven't done it yet. Number 2, I want you to look at the quality of your workforce and your corporate culture. What areas can you show more love in? What are the gap areas, and how can you build it back up if it is weak? What can you do? Listen to your customers, listen to your workforce also, keep an ear to the ground so you know what's going on and you're not in some la la land where you have no idea what's happening with your business. Number 3 is customer service. Going back to what I said earlier, keep listening to them, keep giving, keep showing up abundantly, and look at the gaps of how you can make it better. Look at some of the potential issues that could happen and how can you make that better and make that customer service so amazing that people will then have customer loyalty with you. Number 4, showing grace and helping others. It is giving the leverage where you need to give it, reining in where you need to rein it in also, but knowing that it doesn't have to be militant. Life happens and life is too short to get so stuck and bogged down with the small things in life. So be abundant. And number 5, market strength. Show up. Whether you're showing up for accountability, whether you're showing up for community service, whether you're showing up just to be there and show your face, show up. With that, I say goodbye. And if this was great and super helpful to you, subscribe, share, and also go to the link down below and you'll find the 5-day legal challenge so that you can also see where the gaps are in your business and where you need to pour in some more love. Until then, I'll see you later. Bye. Thank you so much for joining Law Chat with Girija. I just love these kind of conversations that are motivating, inspiring, but truthful, raw, and honest about all of the challenges, all of the victories, all of the triumphs, picking ourselves back up again. I just can't think of a better way to get mentorship but Law Chat with Girija. If this was helpful to you or this was inspiring to you, please share the love. You can give this video a thumbs up. You can subscribe to this channel. You can also share this with your community by taking a screenshot and posting it on your social media and tagging GBP Law. When you do that, a lot more people will be able to see this video that not only benefited you, but also can benefit them as well. So let's share that love and let's share that inspiration. And if you want more information about what I do and other resources, go check out gbplaw.com or yourcontractbuddy.com. And I look forward to seeing you next time.